So believe it or not, Lego minifigures are not actually my favorite Lego figures. I know you're all gonna scream at me, but in this video we're gonna check out some of these strange figures that Lego has created over the years. I'm gonna show you the ones that I've found right here on Boone Builds. Welcome back to Boone Builds. I am so glad you're watching. If you have found yourself watching some Boone Builds videos and you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love to invite you to do so and hit that bell icon so that you get notifications when I publish a video or when I go live. Now, I'm gonna show you some of these weird Lego figures that I have found over the years. This video is in no way intended to be an exhaustive list of all the strange figures Lego has ever made. I'm just showing you the ones that I've come across and have put in my collection. I'm always looking for these weird things, and I'm gonna tell you why I like them. Starting with one of my all-time favorite styles of Lego figure is the Technic Fig. So these were first available in the 1970s, and a number of Technic sets over the years were released and sold with these figures to sit, inside the vehicles, and other various types of Technic sets. These were created until I think the mid-90s, so I want to say like 95 or 96 was about the last time that these were available, and they came in a number of different styles, and they even had some accessories. The only Technic Fig accessories that I have are helmets, so you can put helmets on these figures. But I do have a bag of Technic figures because these are some of my favorites. I actually pretty much anytime I see Technic figures out there in the wild, I'll try to swipe them up. So I'll show you a few different styles here. Some of them have, this is a pretty early face. So it's a pretty simple face there. They got a little bit more detailed. Here you can see this guy has a mustache and he's got sort of those whites in the eyes. It's actually, pretty early on to sort of see that whites in the eyes, because minifigures, if you look at current contemporary minifigures now, you see that added detail. But, some of mine are not complete, but I think these guys are fun, and so I picked this guy up in case I ever want to use him for something. But I think one of the beautiful things about these figures is just how poseable they are. You can put these guys in a lot of really interesting poses, and it's sort of fun when you can get them. Oh, look at this. So this guy's like, oh, he's ready to do some kind of dance or attack somebody. So I love how well these guys pose, and let's see, can we do like a what's that thing from Karate Kid, where they sort of like do the crane pose? Can we do that? Anyway, and it's just, this guy isn't even studded down, and you can see how many interesting poses I can put him in and just balanced on his, on this tabletop here. Anyway, that's one of the reasons I really love these guys. Technic Figs, there you go. Next up are basic figures. These figures were available in basic sets, a lot of the buckets, the big buckets of Lego that were available through like the 80s and 90s. This one is referred to as a finger puppet, and this came in a couple of different colors. This one is called the human body figure. This one was available from 1981 to 1992, and this one actually was only available, from the research I could do, in 1986 only, and there were 4 different styles of the figure, and each one was included in only one set. So this one, a black suit with the white hat, is a firefighter. He came in a simple little basic theme fire engine, and there was also a black suit with a black hat, and he was a police officer that came with a police car. But otherwise, these only appeared that one year, so maybe one of the most uncommon figures to come across these days. Nobody seems to really want them, so they're not really worth a lot, but I think they're unique, and when I come across these, I tend to throw them, in my bag at Bricks Minifigs or wherever I happen upon them. These, there's tons of these out there. They were available in a lot of sets. you know, all the way through the 80s and into the very early 90s. But I think these are kind of fun, and they called them finger puppets because they're small enough and they're hollow, you know, that like a child could put them on their finger and do a little finger puppet show. A similar style of figure, but with animal heads, comes from Fabuland. These were created from 1979 to 1989. You can see that they have exactly the same body as that basic human body figure, but these characters all had different animal heads, and I only have this one. I also had a cat, but I took the cat head off and did something else with it, so this is the only one that I can show you today. But I love these Fabuland figs, and I think a lot of Lego fans have come to enjoy these in the last few years. And there was an elephant and you know, birds, cats, dogs, and all of these characters, and there was even a claymation TV show that was on for just a little while in some parts of the world while these products were on the shelves. So that's Fabuland. Really love these characters. A very short-lived theme from just 2001 to 2003 was Jack Stone. So we've got some Jack Stone figures here. There's one style of Jack Stone. He was sort of the main character, and he came in a few different outfits. But I think probably my favorite Jack Stone style figures were the firefighters. I think these firefighter characters are really cool looking. And there was that guy with a 1 on his helmet and sort of a mustache. And then there was a guy with a 7 on his helmet, clean-shaven face. Those are the only firefighters that I've come across. I don't know if any more exist. It would be fun to know that, like, maybe there's 1 through 7. Probably not. It may just be these 2. But there was also, I think, a female that appeared as a Jack Stone figure. I have not come across any of those, you know, for my collection. I have seen them. I know at BrickCon in Seattle, the Play Brick has tons of these Jack Stone style figures in them. So I've seen the lady, but I don't have any in my own collection. And I have just a few more of these firefighters and one more Jack Stone. You can see, I like these firefighters. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but I think they're cool. Next up, probably one of the most common non-minifig figures from Lego is the standard Duplo figure. You've probably seen these on the shelves in your local department store, local toy store. You might have had some of these, you know, at some point in your life. They have changed a little bit over the years. If you find Duplo figures from, I think, the very early 90s or the 80s, they're going to be shaped just a little bit differently than Duplo figures these days. But of course, you know, this is quite a bit larger than a standard minifigure. And I think they're pretty fun, especially, you know, when they start giving Batman capes and other cool stuff to do with Duplo here. Duplo figures have been around for a long time. I know at least since the 80s, perhaps the earliest Duplo figures appeared in the late 70s. Still made today, still made to this day. We've got awesome Duplo figures coming out every year. Here's an interesting one. This is the King from Lego Belleville. This is my only Belleville figure. I just thought the King looked so cool. I came across some Belleville figures in a store the last time I visited Denmark near the Lego headquarters. And this one's awesome because he's got a cape that sort of fits around his neck. He's got this chromed out, you know, kind of crown. Hey, actually, without the crown, this kind of looks like my buddy Matt's dad. Matt, if you're watching, I'd love to know if you think this looks like your dad or not. Okay, anyway, we'll put the crown back on and the cape. But he's got, you know, just, that's a really cool print on his chest and very articulate. You know, even the wrist on these guys sort of like turns and pivots. The ankles, the knees, these guys are just quite flexible. There were a lot of different Belleville style of figures from 1994 through 2009. Belleville was created. A lot of home, mom, dad, kids, family type style characters, and then sort of like some fairy tale characters. So I have the king here. My friend Sam from Lego Masters is really into the Belleville fairies. There were these weird little fairy figures that only came with Belleville, and they're really something. So you should go check those out. But this is the only Belleville figure that I have in my collection. Similar to Belleville, but even larger, was a theme called Scala, and those were almost like small Barbie dolls, but they had similar, kind of a similar look to their faces, similar articulation styles. But those figures, the Belleville figures, were even larger than these. Now, I don't have any Scala figures in my collection, but I do have this teddy bear, which was released with Scala and also used in Belleville. So these are sometimes called the Scala teddy bear, the Belleville teddy bear. They're sort of strange, but it's pretty cool because this bear's feet will actually fit between studs on a plate. So you can stand him up on a standard Lego plate or brick or whatever you'd like. This is an interesting thing I came across, and I don't really think this counts for this video, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. And the reason it doesn't really count is because this was not released in a set. All of the other figures that I've shown you so far have come as figures along with official Lego sets. This was a giveaway at an attraction at one of the Legoland theme parks. So there's a store in kind of the dinosaur area of the Legoland theme park, and it's called Dig Those Dinos. And this was available, sort of a giveaway at an activity at that store for a while. And I just think it's cool because, it looks and sort of behaves. The head turns, the arms move, and of course it is supposed to look like a minifigure, but it is more than twice the height of a regular standard minifigure. So I thought this was kind of cool. The last figure I want to show in this video, and I just think these are so weird and strange and kind of creepy. These are Duplo Dolls. Again, I only have one of these. Real fabric dress. This actually came with an embroidered Lego logo right here, and I actually used my seam ripper last week to tear that Lego logo off to use for another project. So you'll have to stick with me to find out what I'm using that little Lego logo for. But I think these are pretty... They're just strange, right? They're uncommon. I do not come across these in the wild. This was another figure that I found in Denmark, at just a little shop very near to the Lego headquarters. And I just think it's so interesting because I don't remember ever seeing these in the United States. I think these were available from 2001 to 2005, and they were in Lego education sets. So it's very likely that this never even really came with a set that you might have found, on the store shelves. So I think she's just kind of creepy and cool, and she can sit down here, and yeah. Anyway, there's a few different characters from this series, a few different outfits. I would like to get some more of these in the future, but this girl with the yellow dress and the black hair I thought was just sort of like the most interesting when I came across these. So that is pretty much my little collection here. Again, there are some other really weird Lego figures that I don't have. So this video is in no way intended to represent all of these strange Lego figures out there. But, these are the ones that I have, and I'm going to continue looking for more. And, I'd love to hear in the comments below if you've come across any of these, or if you have anything that I mentioned that, is not in my collection yet. And, we'll just have fun. We'll keep our eyes out for this stuff. And, my motivation with this stuff is always like, how does this inspire me to create something? You know, thinking about building something for her or building something for this guy, those are different creative challenges than building for minifigures, right? So that's why these things intrigue me. Of course, I love minifigures, but I find it more interesting to look for these strange things. So I hope that this encourages you to think about, you know, different things that you might build for different scale figures. And until next time, go build something amazing.